Hi, my name is Griffin Price, and this is Lab 1 Charge Tapes. Now, to introduce this lab, the main goal is to try to predict the charge of the tape and whether it has an excess or deficient number of electrons by understanding the interactions between the two different pieces of tape. And some results are that the two pieces of tape are positively charged. The charge calculated of the tape is 1.167 times 10 to the negative 8 coulombs, and the tape is deficient by 1.01 times 10 to the 11 electrons. Some fundamental principles and initial conditions that were used and found in this experiment was one, Coulomb's law, which you can see can be found, can be used to find electric fields and electric forces. Um, and another prevalent law is Newton's second law, which is used to find the gravitational force. So as you can see, F equals m times a. The a is replaced by the gravitational acceleration constant, 9.81. And some initial conditions that were found was that the mass of the tape was 0.0002 kilograms. The length of the tape was 0.02 meters, or zero point 0.2 meters, and the width was 0.02 meters. Now, for the actual experiment, I created two pieces of electrically charged tape called U-tape. See the upper image in the top right. I tested to see what attracted and repelled the U-tape and found that it was attracted to my hand, but repelled my plastic ruler. I used the other piece of U-tape that I used to repel the original U-tape found in see image 2, right below the first image, and measured the distance, and that distance was approximately 0.025 meters. Now, using this information, I did my own little calculations and found that the force of gravity was 0.00196 newtons, and that the charge that I found that the tape had was 1.15 times 10 to the negative 8 coulombs. And using that charge, I found that the electrons lost by the tape was approximately 9.91 times 10 to the 10 electrons. Now, for the coding, this is a simple piece of coding. And I found that the actual charge was relatively close to my calculated charge. That the actual charge is 1.167 times 10 to the negative 8 coulombs. So not too bad there. Now for the second coding experiment, basically I won't dive too deep into the coding, but I use these formulas and calculations to get this that image you see of the red dots and blue dots, those being the two pieces of tape, and I calculated the electric force and the gravitational force using those fundamental principles, and I found that the electric force was 1.69651 times 10 to the negative 5 newtons, and that the gravitational force was 1.962 times 10 to the negative 4 newtons. Now, some error or some things that could have influenced the results. Obviously, human error that happens almost all the time with touch, and that could transfer some of the charge from the tape to my hand and skew some results. Unequal charges of the tape. So, it wasn't given that the tape was uniformly charged all the way. So there might have been some, inconsistencies there. And that in the coding that I showed you previously, that it didn't, it processed the tape as point charges. And that could have skewed, obviously, real world results as well. Now, the what if question and why. What if electrons had positive charge and protons had negative charge? What changed about the observations you made with your tapes and other charged objects? Well, the observations would remain more or less the same because it's a fact that the two pieces of tape had the same charge, and no matter if that charge is electric or negative or positive, they're the same. And if they're the same, they're going to repel each other. And if they're different, they're going to attract each other. So the charges would be flipped, but the results would be the same. But why is it important to handle these charged tapes as little as possible? What happens when the charged tapes come into contact with your hands or other objects? Well, when somebody handles the tape transfers its charge into that person's hands or any other object that it physically touches. This can alter the tape's charge by a certain amount and alter results. Thank you.